Hey guys, in this video we're going to learn about how to do two-point perspective. And two-point perspective is a technique that we use to draw things that are boxy, like houses, or you can write block letters or boxes. These are all things that you can draw using two-point perspective. And basically it allows us to show dimension in a realistic way. So I drew a little bit of an example about what two-point perspective looks like in this top right corner here. All that you're going to need to do two-point perspective with me today is going to be a pencil and eraser, a ruler, or a straight edge. If you don't have a ruler, you could grab the edge of a book or something that has a straight edge on it. And lastly, you're going to need a piece of paper. Some things to know as we get started. First of all is a horizon line. A horizon line is where the sky meets the earth, and it also represents our eye level. So when you look and see the sunset, the sun is setting on the horizon line. Nextly, the vanishing points. Vanishing points are what we're going to draw on the right side and the left side of our line to do two-point perspective. These are going to be necessary as we get started. They represent what our eyes start to not be able to see. Kind of like if you envision train tracks and how they eventually look like they meet, that is a vanishing point, just one vanishing point. The next thing to keep in mind as we get started is angle. The first thing that we're going to be drawing as we do two-point perspective is the angle, because that's going to be what is closest to us as we're drawing. So this here is the angle or the corner of a building or a box that we are going to be drawing. Nextly is line types. We should do a little bit of a review of what line types are called and what kind of lines that we're going to be using today. So the first one is going to be a vertical line. A vertical line is simply a line that goes straight up and down. Pretty easy, right? A horizontal line is a line that goes straight across. You can see the word horizon in there. You can remember that our horizon line is a horizontal line. And lastly, parallel lines are lines that are always running across each other but never touching. So when I say draw parallel lines, you're going to draw lines next to each other that are like this and not touching. They just simply run across each other. Parallel lines can be lines that are vertical or horizontal. Once you have your paper, pencil, and eraser and ruler in front of you, you can get started with me. We're going to turn our papers so that they are the long way or horizontal way. The first step to the process is going to be taking our rulers, laying it on top of our paper, and drawing our horizon line. You can choose to put your horizon line at the top or towards the bottom here, but I think it's best to, just for beginners, to start out right in the middle. So try to make sure that it's straight and then take it all the way across and we have our horizon line. The second thing we're going to do is draw some points on the very ends of our line, almost to the edge of the paper, on the right and on the left. Those are going to be our vanishing points. Next, we are going to draw a box right on our horizon line. So the first thing that we're going to do to draw our box is going to be drawing a vertical line right on the horizon line. So that looks like that. Once you have your vertical line drawn on the horizon line, go ahead and take your ruler and put one end on this right vanishing point and then line up the other end to the bottom of your vertical line that you've just drawn. Once you do that, go ahead and draw it lightly all the way to the vanishing point. Just like that. And we're drawing lightly today because we're going to be doing lots of erasing. You'll find out why in a little bit. Once you've drawn that line on, let's go ahead and line it up. Line the ruler up with the bottom of the line over to the left vanishing point and do the same thing. Draw the line right on over to it, very lightly. Now we're going to do the same thing with the top edge, the top point on our line, lining it up with the top of the line and the vanishing point and drawing it on over. And the same thing on the left side. All right, we've gotten quite a far ways now with our first box. The next thing that we're going to be doing is drawing a parallel line to this middle line that we've made on the right and on the left. This is going to decide how big the box will be. You can make it really thin or you can make it really long depending on how far out you draw this parallel line. But I'm just going to draw it right there. And then another one on the left side. And I can decide to make it thinner on this side if I want. So I'll do that. So believe it or not, this is going to be our first box. What we need to do is erase the excess line that we don't need. Right there. So erase those lines on the outside, and then you can also erase the horizon line on the inside of the box because it's overlapping the horizon line. It's on top of it. So let's erase that. And there you have it. There is our first box. Let's go ahead and try a box on top, above the horizon line. So I'm going to bring it over here on the left side. Draw a vertical line. And then, you might have guessed, we are going to take the line all the way over to our vanishing point. But since I know that I'm not going to use the line all the way over here, I'll probably end up erasing it. I'm not going to draw it all the way to the vanishing point, but you can if you want. Doing the same thing on the left side. Now I'm moving up to the top of the line and bringing it over to the vanishing point. Not drawing it all the way to the vanishing point because I don't want to have to erase all of that. There we go. That's the start of our second box. Now, what we're going to do is create a parallel line to that corner, decide how big we want our box to be, and then just draw it straight up there. Do the same thing on the left side. At this point, you can erase this excess on the sides that you don't need. All right, now this one is a little bit unique because since it is above the horizon line, you can imagine a box above you, you're going to see the bottom of the box. So that's what we're going to draw in here at the bottom of this box that we've created. And to do that, you just take the opposite side to the opposite vanishing point. So you can see that I've lined my ruler up with the left side over to the right vanishing point. And I'm just going to draw this line over just like we've been doing. Then I line the ruler up with the right side of my box over to the left vanishing point. And just doing that creates the bottom of your box. There you have it. You've created a box above the horizon line. Now, to do a box below the horizon line, it's very similar to the top one. You can imagine a box that you're looking down upon. You would see the top of the box. So let's do that right now. Let's draw a box below the horizon line. We start with a vertical line, just like what we have been doing. Then we line up the bottom edge over to the vanishing point. Draw that line up. The other bottom edge over to the right vanishing point. Draw that one up. Top edge to the vanishing point. Draw that one up there. Top edge over to the vanishing point. Draw that one up. Okay, so a few things are happening here. I started overlapping this box that I've already created. That's fine. It will just look like it's overlapping. We can keep drawing it as normal, and it will end up looking like it's laying on top of that other box. Next, you know this, we are going to be drawing our parallel lines to show the edges of our boxes. Erase that excess line that you don't need. And then we line up the opposite edge of the box with the opposite vanishing point. So the left side with the right vanishing point. And draw that line up. Now the right side of the box with the left vanishing point. Draw that one up. Erase this excess line that we don't need. And then what we can do, since this box is laying on top of this box behind it, we can erase the box that's showing through. So that now it looks like this box is on top of or in front of this box laying behind it. And now you've created 3 boxes using 2-point perspective. Now what I want you to do is draw 2 more boxes on top, 2 more boxes on the line, and 2 more boxes below the line. So in total, you will have 9 boxes. I'm going to do that. You guys can watch me do that a little bit, but I want you to do it by yourself as well. Remember, the first thing that you're going to be doing is drawing that vertical line that is the corner. And then from there, all you're doing is drawing a vertical line or bringing it to the vanishing point. That's the only 2 lines that you're drawing. If you're doing anything else, you're doing it wrong. So once again, you're drawing vertical lines, or you're drawing a line matching up and pointing to that vanishing point. Those are the only 2 lines you're drawing. So there you have it. I have 9 boxes total on my piece of paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 3 above the horizon line so I can see the bottoms. 3 on top of the horizon line so I don't see a top or bottom. And then I have 3 below the horizon line, which allows me to see the tops of those boxes. And for the next step, if you want to tidy up this piece of paper, you can take a Sharpie and then carefully Sharpie along the edges that you've just made. Now, if you have a steady hand, you can go ahead right over top of those lines. But if you don't trust drawing a straight line with just your free hand, go ahead and use that ruler again. So at this point, I've traced over all of my boxes with the Sharpie. You can choose to shade your boxes. Imagine that a light source is coming from one side, and shade your boxes so that it shows the value change that would happen on a boxy subject. So I just finished filling in all of my boxes on my paper with some color to make them pop. And now with this knowledge that you guys now have of doing two-point perspective, I encourage you to try out using two-point perspective to draw other things. Basically, you can draw anything that's blocky, but you can also draw things like a house or Legos, a building. You could draw your name in block letters. Your bed, you could draw a Jenga game, building that tower up and taking out some of those blocks. You could also draw a cityscape. You can draw a cityscape looking down on a city, or you can draw a cityscape looking like you're short and the buildings are very tall around you. So go ahead and try out a few different things with this two-point perspective.